Hi, Rimantas Petrauskas here, and in this video I want to show you and explain the money management settings in the MetaTrader Trade Copier. So let's begin. So the main highlights in this presentation I want to talk about is that the Local Trade Copier software has 4 money management parameters. We also talk about how leverage of a client account might affect the lot size, like so to speak, after copying a trade. Automatically adjusting lot size between accounts of different currencies, which is if master account, for example, is in United States dollars, while the client account is in Singapore dollars or maybe Great Britain pounds. Yeah, so those lot size will vary a bit, and we'll explain how that works. And also I will answer some frequently asked questions. So the Local Trade Copier has 4 money management parameters. So all the money management in the Local Trade Copier you can kind of control with these 4 parameters, and you will see that mainly 2 of them are the most important, while the other 2 are not so important. But first, we still have to look at them all in this presentation. So by default, Local Trade Copier is set to calculate lot size automatically according to the size of the master and the client account. In this way, like in terms of percentage, you get the same risk on both accounts. So it means if you risk 1% of on the master account, the client account will risk the same 1%, even if the account size on the client side is different. Obviously, if that's possible. So even if you open, no matter what lot size you open on the master account, and even if the client account is bigger or smaller, the Local Trade Copier will automatically adjust the lot size and will calculate like kind of the right lot size, so that the same trade on the client side will kind of risk the same 1% as on the master account. Also, you will notice that I use abbreviations in this tutorial like MMM, which stands for Money Management Mode. So we'll get to this in a second. So in the screenshot, you will see those 4 main money management parameters. So again, you will see that the first one is the MMM, which is Money Management Mode, MMV, which is money management value. Those are the 2 most important ones. And then others are MMCM, which is money management calculation mode, and money LMR value. So those 2 are kind of more advanced thing, but those first 2 are the most important. So the MMM is where you choose what formula, kind of what method should the client use to calculate the lot size when copying a trade onto client account. And later you will find the list of available options in this MMM. But now let's look at the MMV. MMV is where you choose the value for the lot size calculation parameter. So MMV is the value for MMM, kind of. So for example, if you choose to use a fixed lot size in the MMM settings, then in the MMV is where you put the lot size you want to use. So another example would be if you choose a lot multiplier in MMM, then as MMV should be the number you want to be like act as a multiplier. So if you put 2, then all the lot size will be multiplied by 2. The MMCM is where you choose whether the client should use accounts balance or equity when calculating lot size. By default, the calculation formula uses server account balance and the client account balance. But of course, we understand that you might want to use some kind of different combinations, like maybe equity from the master account and the equity from the client, or maybe equity from master but balance from the client. So it has multiple options, and everyone will find what they're looking for. But kind of default setting is the balance and balance, which is in kind of, I would say, 95 probably percent is what people use. The LMR value, it kind of stands for lot money ratio, and we will explain this later in this presentation. But this is kind of, if client chooses this lot money ratio as their money management mode, then you will have to use the MMV and LMR value to set that. Well, you will understand later about this. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So here are here's the list of all 8 available money management modes that you can find in the Local Trade Copier. So those are AA, AAM, same lot size as on the master account, multiply by X, fixed lot size, risk per trade in percentage, risk per trade in money, and LMR, like lot money ratio. So AA and AAM are the most common used like options. By default, the trade copier is set to use auto adjust to account size, which is AA. And we'll get to some examples now. So the AA is the default option, and it makes the client EA change the lot size proportionally according to the size of the master and the client account. Like I explained in one of the first one of the first slides, it's like if you risk 1% on the master, the same 1% will be risked on the client EA, and the client EA will adjust the client like the lot size on the client accordingly, making it bigger or smaller according to the size of the client account. And when MMM is set to AA, the client EA does not use money management value. So keep this in mind, that if this is set, that those other 3 money management parameters are of no use, kind of. Okay, so now let's look at the first example. So imagine we have the AA set as the money management mode. So if we have the master account of $1,000 and the client account of $5,000, and we need to copy the trade of 0.2 lot size, then the client account will get the lot size of 1.0. It's like one full lot. Well, assuming the client account have the same or the bigger leverage than the master. So why is that? Well, here's why. The client account is 5 times bigger. It's like 5,000 against the 1,000, yeah? So it's 5 times bigger. So the lot size will become 5 times bigger as well. We have to do this kind of to preserve the same risk in percentage, yeah? It's like automatically scale. The bigger account gets the bigger lots, so they get the bigger profits, like in monetary kind of calculations. And if the account is smaller, they get to risk smaller amounts as well. But in the percentage kind of wise, it's the same, yeah? So in this case, the 0.2 lot trade, let's say it's a 2% risk on the master account. So on the client account, to risk the same 2%, we need to open the same trade, but with a full lot size, which is like 5 times the master account size, the master trade size, yeah? So this is the ideal way to copy the trades and preserve the same risk in percentage, and kind of have the automatic lot scaling, yeah? Just keep in mind that AA calculation mode takes the leverage into account as well to protect the client's capital. So this protection is activated only if the client account leverage is smaller than the master account leverage. In such a case, the client EA will lower the lot size on the client account to avoid margin calls or stop outs. Now let's see how that works. Yeah. So let's apply the same example as before, but this time the master and the client account leverage will be different. So for example, if the master account was of $1,000, so let's say it has a leverage of 1 to 100, but the client account of $5,000, let's say it has a leverage of 1 to 25, which is 4 times smaller than the leverage of the master account. So in this case, the client EA will copy the same 0.2 lot size trade to the client account at the lot size of 0.25. And this is because the account leverage is 5 times smaller. So here's what happens. So you see, if the client account leverage would be bigger or the same as the master account, the lot size will be full lot, because it has to become like 5 times bigger because the client account is 5 times bigger. But because the client account has a smaller leverage, and it's like, to be precise, it's 4 times smaller, the client EA makes the resulting lot size 5 times smaller as well. So the one full lot becomes 0.25. If we wouldn't do that, the client EA would be at danger risking capital, like getting margin calls, stop outs, and so on. Yeah. Okay, so let's go next. The next money management mode is the AAM for short, which stands for auto adjust and multiply by X. So it makes the client EA to change the lot size proportionally according to the size of the master and client accounts, like with the previously discussed AA mode, but with the AAM, it additionally can also multiply the resulting lot size by your chosen number, a multiplier, so to speak. So when the MMM is set to AAM, the client EA will use MMV parameter. It is where you can enter the lot multiplier that you want. So here's an example. Let's say we have the AAM set, obviously, yeah, and say we set the money management value, MMV, to 2.5. So if the master account is 1,000 and the client account is 5,000, like 5 times bigger, the client EA will copy 0.2 trade to the client account at the lot size of 2.5, assuming the client account have the same or bigger leverage than the master. So the client account is 5 times bigger in this example, so the lot size would become 5 times bigger too. But additionally, because we have the MMV set to 2.5, the client EA will multiply the resulting lot size of 1 for lot, which is 5 times 0.2, yeah, we get a full lot, but we multiply that additionally by 2.5, which will give the lot size of 2.5, obviously. In such a case, if the 0.2 lot trade is a 2% risk on the master account, then the 2.5 lot trade will become a 5% risk on the client account. That is because we multiply that by 2.5, yeah? And also know that with the AAM calculation mode, the client EA also takes the leverage into account and makes the lot size adjustments accordingly, yeah? Like for the protection of the client's capital, yeah? So let's take a look at the example with the protection when it's activated if the leverage of the client account is smaller. So it's like the same with the AA example we had, but this time we also multiply by 2.5. So we have the same account, master of 1,000, but leverage is 1 to 100, and the client size is 5,000, which is 5 times bigger, but we have leverage 1 to 10. So it's 10 times smaller the leverage of the client account. So the 0.2 lot size trade will be copied at the 0.25. So here's why. It's because the client account leverage is 10 times smaller. So if the client account leverage would be bigger or the same as the master account, the lot size will be 2.5, like in previous example, yeah. But because the client leverage is 10 times smaller, the client EA has to multiply the resulting lot size of 2.5 by 10. to make it 10 times smaller so that it protects the client EA from margin calls or stop outs. Yeah. Also keep in mind that when using a multiplier here, it is essential to know that you can also lower the risk by using the multiply number, which is smaller than 1. So if you use something like 0.5, you can like cut the resulting lot size in half. And here's an example on this one. So the same scenario, master account $1,000, client account 5 times bigger, $5,000, but we have the MMV set at 0.5, which will cut the lot size in half, kind of, yeah? So client EA will copy 0.2 trade as a 0.5 trade. The client account is 5 times bigger, so the lot size would normally become one full lot, but because we have the MMV of 0.5, the client A will multiply 1 by 0.5 and will get the resulting lot size of 0.5, which kind of it cuts the full lot in half in this example. Yeah. So in such case, if the 0.2 lot trade on the master is a 2% risk, as an example, then the 0.5 lot trade on the client account will be 1% risk because it like cuts it in half. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. And the third money management mode is called like same lot size as on the master account. So I think no further explanation is needed for this one. But if you choose this one, so the client EA will always copy the same lot size no matter what. In this mode, the client EA will ignore differences in account sizes and also ignore the differences in leverages. It won't look anywhere. It will just take the lot size that comes from the master account and will use the same lot size on the client account. Obviously, if it's possible, if the client account is too small, there's no enough margin or something like that, the client can't copy the trade, obviously. So MMV is not used in this mode because there's nothing to set. And be very careful when copying trades this way, because if the client EA account is smaller, you might get a margin call or get stopped out. So I think there's no need to warn about this. You should already know that, risking too much on a small account might result in money loss, but still, I want to tell this. Okay, so go next. And we have the next money management mode that I call the multiply by X. So you can use this one when you want to copy the trades and alter the lot size by multiplying it by a specific number. We call this a multiplier, a number that you will be multiplying. Yeah. So in this mode, the client EA will ignore differences in account sizes or differences in leverages. MMV is not used as well. It's used in this case to set your desired multiplier. Yeah. So here's an example of how the multiply by X works. Say we set the MMV to 3. If the master account is 1,000 and the client account is 5,000, client EA will copy 0.2 trade to the client account at the lot size of 0.6. The client account is 5 times bigger, but in this mode, client EA just ignores account size or leverage account, the differences. Because we have MMV set to number 3, the client EA will multiply the original lot size of 0.2 by 3, which will give us the lot size of 0.6 for the client account. In such a case, if the 0.2 lot trade is a risk of 2% on the master account, then the 0.6 on the client account can be of whatever is depending on an account size. So I can't answer that. Yeah, we have to know the account size of the client. So in this case, yeah, we know it's 5,000, so we can kind of calculate it. But in any other example, you just have to take into account that when copying trades this way, it is kind of quite a risky, So if the client account is small, you just get a margin call or get stopped out. Yeah. Okay, so we move next. and we have a fixed lot size. So this is the most primitive way to set the lot size for the copy trade. Yet we see some people still using it, and they don't want anything fancy things, calculations or whatever. They just want to insert the lot size and have that lot size always on the client account. So obviously in this mode, the client A will ignore differences in account sizes or leverage differences. MMV is usable, and that's where you set your desired lot size, which will be always the same for all copied trades. So for example, you set MMV to 0.23. It means that client A will always copy all trades with this lot size of 0.23. So it doesn't matter what lot size comes from the master account. It could be like micro lot, mini lot, full lot, 20 lots. The client will always use 0.23. Okay, the next one is the risk per trade in percentage. So this allows you to set your desired risk in percentage. For example, like 2% per trade, So client EA will use the size of the client account and the stop loss of each trade to calculate a proper lot size, so that if the trade hits the stop loss, it will lose no more than 2%. Obviously some deviation is possible, but it will be like roughly 2%. In this mode, the client EA ignores differences in account sizes or leverage differences, and MMV, well, you use the MMV parameters to set your desired risk in percentage. So in this case, you would set like 2 in MMV, Now let me give you a simple example of how the risk per trade in percentage works. So let's take an example that if we set the MMV to 5%, it means the client EA will always calculate the lot size accordingly, so that if the trade hits the stop loss, it will lose no more than 5%. Well, roughly 5%, I would say, because there might be like slippages and stuff, but it will be like roughly 5%. So client EA will use client account size and the stop loss to calculate the proper lot size for that. It's very important to mention that when client EA is using this mode, it will copy trades from master account only when they have a stop loss set. If there is no stop loss set on the trade on the master side, then the client EA will just delete such trades. It won't copy them until they get a stop loss. In this operational mode, if the master trades, like kind of never get a stop loss set and then get closed, they never make it to the client account. This is very important to understand, because some people choose this money management mode, and then they come to our customer support and say, oh, client ES doesn't copy the trades, but it should have a stop loss, because if there is no stop loss, then it's impossible to calculate the risk per trade of 5%, like what kind of lot size it should be. When we know the stop loss, it's like 50 pips, 10 pips, or whatever it is, then we fill in the formula, do the calculations, get the lot size. Without a stop loss, it's just not possible. Okay, so some more things about the risk percentage. So if master trades it gets a stop loss set, for example, after 20 seconds when it got opened, like you open a trade on the master account and the set stop loss only after 20 seconds, the client EA will copy this trade only after it detects the stop loss on the trade, which means there will be a delay of at least 20 seconds. So if there was no stop loss in the master trade for 20 seconds, it means the client EA did not even bother copying it. And once it detected that stop loss after 20 seconds, it will copy the trade. So after the trade is copied and the stop loss is removed from the master trade, if that happens, the client EA will remove the stop loss too, but the trade will obviously remain open until it remains open on the master account. In such case, it's important to note that the trade is no longer risking the same percentage you choose with the MMV parameter, as it's no longer had a stop loss. So if you choose 5% and master removes the stop loss later. So it means there's no like clear where the trade will be closed. Yeah, so the same would be true if the stop loss gets set to a higher or a smaller value on the master account. Client EA would copy those stop loss changes accordingly to the risk in percentage would change, of course, as well. So if you change the stop loss or remove it on the master, this will kind of changes the percentage in risk on the client account. Okay, so next one is the risk per trade in money. So this one allows you to set the risk in money, for example, to risk $500 per trade. Well, if it's dollars or euros or pounds, it depends on the account currency, like deposit currency of your account. So in this example, we use just United States dollars. Yeah. So in this mode, client EA ignores differences in account sizes and also ignores all the differences in leverages. So MMV, you use that for setting the desired risk in money. I see it's a typo, says in percentage, but it's desired risk in money. So in this case, you would enter 500. Yeah. And the client EA will use the size of the client account and the stop loss of each trade to calculate a proper lot size so that if the trade hits the stop loss, it will lose no more than $500. Depends on the deposit currency, of course. In this mode, the client EA ignores differences in account sizes or leverage differences as well. Well, I think I mentioned that already, yeah. So if you set MMV to 500, it means the client EA will always calculate the lot size accordingly so that if the trade hits the stop loss, it will lose no more than $500. Well, roughly, yeah, we have slippages and spreads and stuff, yeah, so it's roughly $500. Client EA will use client account size and the stop loss to calculate proper lot size for that. And it's important to mention as well as with the risk percentage per risk per trade in percentage, so the same with risk per trade in money, it will copy trades from the master account only when they have a stop loss set. If there's no stop loss set on the trade on the master account, then the client EA will delay such trades until they get a stop loss set. So in this operational mode, if the master trade never get a stop loss set and then get closed, they never make it to the client account. So it's the same with like risk percentage, yeah. So it's the same with risk per money as well. We need a stop loss in order to do the right calculations, what kind of lot size the client EA has to use, yeah. And some more things for the risk per trade money management mode. So if master trade gets a stop loss set, for example, after 20 seconds, when it got open, then the client EA will copy this trade only after detects the stop loss on that trade, which means there will be a delay of at least 20 seconds. So after the trade is copied and the stop loss is removed from the master trade, the client EA will remove the stop loss too, but the trade will remain open until it remains open on the master account. But keep in mind again that if the trade is no longer has a stop loss, then it means it's no longer risking the same amount in money that you choose with the MMV parameter because it has no longer stop loss, yeah? So the same would be true if the stop loss gets set to a higher or smaller value on the master account. Client EA would copy those stop loss changes accordingly and the risk in monetary value would change, of course. LMR. Yeah, LMR, yeah, that's the correct way to say it. Lot money ratio, the most advanced money management mode in the client EA. So it might be some kind of difficult thing to understand this for some users, but if you don't understand it, then chances are you don't need it, yeah? So just keep working, yeah? So client EA will ignore differences in account sizes or leverage differences. And when the client EA is using LMR mode, yeah, lot money ratio mode, it will also use the MMV and the LMR value parameters. So for this one, it needs two parameters. So in the MMV, you set the lot size and in the LMR value, you set the money amount. So here's how it works. Let's say you set MMV to 0.2 and the LMR value to 1000. With these parameter values, the client EA will risk 0.2 lots, kind of not risk, maybe it will use a like 0.2 lot size for every $1,000. So if the client account size, for example, is 5,500, the client EA will risk one full lot size per trade. It will multiply it by 5. And why by 5, you ask? It is because the client EA will create this multiplier by dividing the client account size by the LMR value and then take only the whole number part, which is 5 in this case. So 5,500 divided by 1,000 is like 5.5, but it will take only the whole number part, which is 5 in this case. Yeah. So here's another example. Let's say MMV is 0.05 and the LMR value is 100. With these parameter values, the client EA will risk 5 microlots for every every $100 in the account balance. So if the client account size is again 5,500, yeah, the client EA will risk 2.75 lot per trade. It will get the 55 multiplier. And why 55? It's because the client EA will create this multiplier by dividing the client account size by the LMR value. Yeah, so 5,500 divided by 100 is 55. And then takes only the whole number, which is 55 in this case. Yeah, so the lot size becomes 2.75. So let's speak about the leverage of a client account and how it affects the lot size. So I already mentioned some of this before explaining the AA and the AAM money management modes, but now I want to talk just about this. Yeah, so kind of separate topic. Yeah, kind of. So when you are using AA or the AAM money management mode, the client EA is always comparing client account leverage with the leverage of the master account. If the leverage size matches, then it won't affect the lot size. However, if the leverage size of the client account is smaller than the leverage of the master account, it will affect the lot size by making it smaller as well. This is true when the MMM is set to AA or AAM. Only these two money management modes have this protection kind of, yeah. So the lot size is affected only if the leverage of the client account is smaller. If the leverage is bigger, it does not make the lot size bigger. That's important to understand. Yeah. So here's an example. So let's say master account leverage is 1 to 200 and the client account leverage is 1 to 50. Then the client EA has the MMM set to auto adjust to account size. Yeah. Then the master account risk 1% per trade, but the client account will only risk quarter of that. Yeah. Instead of 1%. It is because the client's account leverage is 4 times smaller, like comparing 200 leverage to 50. And copying a trade at the same risk might damage the account. Yeah, it might result in getting margin call or being stopped out. So we don't want to do that. And of course, if for some reason you don't want this leverage protection for the client, then you can always turn this behavior off by setting the ignore leverage using AAM. You just set it to false and the client EA will don't do this. It will just ignore the leverage size differences between master and client account if you're using AA or AAM modes. So let's say master account leverage is 1 to 5 and the client account leverage is 1 to 100. In this case, client EA has MMM set to AA and the master account risk 1% trade. And in this case, the client will risk the same 1% regardless of a high client account leverage. It doesn't matter that the leverage is bigger, yeah? Even though the client's account leverage is 20 times bigger, the risk per trade in percentage for copy trades will not be affected at all, and that's to avoid account damage and unexpected results, yeah? If you want a bigger trade size in such a scenario, then just use the AAM mode, where you can increase it by using the multiplier, which you can set by using the MMV parameter. So in this case, you would just set MMV to 20, and it will affect the lot size, making it 20 times bigger, yeah, if that's what you want, yeah. Okay, so let's now talk about automatically adjusting lot size between accounts of different currencies. Yeah. So in a situation where the deposit currency of a master account is different from the deposit currency of a client account, the LTC Trade Copier may adjust the lot size according to the current exchange rate to preserve the same percentage risk or gain of a trade. Yeah, so that sounds complicated a bit, I think. Yeah, so it's like I can say it like this. This is often misunderstood by newbie traders, and they panic when they see a bigger lot size on the 100,000 euro client account, where when the master account is $100,000. So the kind of account size is the same. It's just dollars and euros, that's the difference, but the lot size will becomes different, and newbie traders panic and say, oh, client EA is miscalculating my lot size, and what should I do? But let's look at the example to understand this. So server $100,000, client 100,000 euros. Client EA has the AA set, the default money management mode, and it will preserve the same percentage risk or gain of each trade. So if the master sends one full lot size from USD account and the client received it as a 1.18 lot to a euro dollar account, that's of course taking into account the current exchange rate. So I don't know what it's today, but when I was making this example, it was roughly around 1.18 something, yeah? 1 euro was $1.18. That's the way, yeah? So client A takes a bigger lot size on the euro account to risk the same percentage on the euro dollar trade than it is for the USD account. Obviously, this might be different for like different deposit currencies or different instruments as well, yeah. But looking at the euro dollar trade on the master and client of dollars and euros, yeah. So that would be the basic example, yeah. So what to do if client EA does not always use a fixed lot size when it is configured to use the fixed lot size, yeah. So if you set client EA to use a fixed lot size, then there's no way for the client EA to use any other lot size. It's just not possible. However, there might be a couple of scenarios for misunderstandings. So it depends upon whether it could be like brokers' minimum and maximum lot size limitations, or it could be partially closed trades and change lot size. So the first thing is that brokers have minimum and maximum lot size limitations. So it's best to understand this by an example. So consider the broker has a maximum lot size limitation of 50 and you're trying to use a fixed lot size of 60 lots. The broker will obviously deny such lot size and the client EA will be forced to use just a lot size of 50, which is maximum allowed by the broker. Yeah. So obviously there's nothing you can do to override this because this is the limitation on the broker side. Well, you might try calling them and say, hey, could you raise my maximum lot size? And they might do this for you. If it's someone trading at 60 lots, pretty big fish maybe, they might take your request and make it happen. But for most of us, it just won't. Yeah. So in like to avoid this, there is a parameter called split lots. It's a function in the client EA that you can split that 60 lot trade into two trades of 50 and 10. So that's kind of a workaround if that is bothering you, like these limitations from the brokers. Another thing that might cause some misunderstandings for the fixed lot size is that the partially closed trades change lot size. Well, a lot of people would just understand this, and it just comes to them like normally, but usually forex newbies don't know about partially closed trades and what is that and so on. So I'll just give you an example. So consider the master opens a trade of 2 lot size, yeah, and the client copies it at a fixed size of 1 lot. So obviously in this example we choose the fixed lot size of 1 lot, yeah, for the client. So master closes half of the position, which is 1 lot, and the rest lot is left to run. So master had 2 lot trade, it closed 1 lot, 1 left to run. Yeah, so it kind of closed half position. So the client will now have to close half of the position as well, but for the client, half of the position is 0.5 lot because it has a 1 lot running. Yeah, so it closes 0.5 lot and the remaining 0.5 lot will be left to run on the client account. Now, you come back to your platform later and you see that 0.5 trade running on the client, and you might assume that the client EA copied it incorrectly because you just set it to always copy a fixed lot size of 1, remember, yeah? But in reality, it's all okay because it was copied correctly at first at full lot size, but then closed partially by the master later. So obviously if, Trade Copier's job is to copy and replicate all the actions that happen on the master account. So, if it closes half of the trade to, get some profits before closing the full trade, then obviously client has to do the same, yeah? What if I think there's a lot size calculation issue or mismatch? Well, I can say that 99 out of 100 cases when people think the trade copier miscalculated the lot size on the client account, they did not understand how the calculation works. It could be a misunderstanding with the settings, different leverage between master and client account, or different deposit currency on the master and client accounts. Yeah, we discussed previous in this video these matters, yeah, but usually people don't get that deep. Yeah, there's not many people can watch half an hour or longer presentation to understand everything. Yeah. So I understand this, I get it. So to make it easy to understand what I mean in this in this answer, let's just take 2 examples. So example 1, master account balance is 1,000 euros. Client account balance is 1,099 euros. Master lot size is 5 microlots. And the client size is 5 microlots as well. It will copy the trade at client microlots. 5 microlots. So I'm assuming this happens in the AA money management mode to just auto adjust to account size. Yeah. In the second example, we have the same master account balance of 1,000 euros, but the client account balance is 1,100, which is only €1 bigger than in the first example, yeah? But it makes all the difference because now the 5 microlot master lot size becomes 6 microlots on the client account. And you can see in both examples I have the formula written exactly what happens. So in the first example, we divide client account balance by the master account balance to get the ratio, and then we multiply it by 5 microlots, and in result we have 5 microlots, the same, yeah? On the example number 2, We have client lot size of 1100, divide that by 1000 euros, yeah, we get the ratio of 1.1 and multiply it by 5 microlots, and this in return gets us 6 microlots. So the difference in account size between example 1 and example 2 is just 1 lazy euro, but the lot size is different. That's just how math works. No big deal, yeah, but just know when your clients will keep asking you, or or you get stumble upon these situations and get freaked out what's happening. Usually people get frustrated when they see these things, when they're trading in these micro lots, and keep using strategies like grid and keep doubling lot sizes and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's very crucial to have these lot sizes like the same or something. Yeah, so just keep an eye. It's just pure math. Yeah, that's just how it works. And in conclusion, I recommend you study all these lot allocations methods well to understand which one will suit your business best. And trust me, we have put tons of hours to make it all work perfectly, but sometimes on some forex brokers the MetaTrader platform is misconfigured, and it could be that no lot calculation algorithm can work well just out of the box. It means that in such cases, we will always take a closer look and try to adjust the software. So if none of the above explained cases explain what's happening with your lot calculation and you assume that it's incorrect or something, just contact us through the contact form on mt4copier.com so we can help you. So I really hope you enjoyed watching this presentation and that you learn about all these money management modes, the lot allocation methods that client EA is using, and I hope you will find the one that suits best your business. So take care and trade safe.